it's time to do some finishing touches on the Galaxy to get it ready for the race this Saturday at Shadyside. Legacy will be there, completely different than it's ever been before. I've got a brand new engine package in it that I honestly don't know what it's going to do. And some things have been moved around, and some experiments are being tried. With all that, one of the things that is happening is the clutch, the rod that goes from the clutch pedal to the Z-bar is no longer long enough. So I need to make a longer one. Now, the reason it's no longer long enough is a combination of many small things, but with things being moved around, of course, that moves locations and stuff, and that added to it. But I also have a very specific spot that I like for my clutch to release. Technically, if I was street driving, I could probably live with it where it is. But racing it, I just like my clutch set in a certain spot. It makes it all flow better for me, muscle memory for me, and all. So I need the clutch where it needs to be if I'm going to make the best pass possible. Last race of the season. This is going to be a battle, because here's where we stand at. We have worked our tails off this season, and if you hadn't followed that struggle, then you can definitely go back in the videos. Got a frog in my throat. You can definitely go back in the videos and see our struggles that we've been through this season. And currently, out of roughly 30-ish ranked drivers, I think we may be 28, somewhere in there, 30, 31, I don't know, but somewhere out of 30-ish ranked drivers, we're sitting number 10 in the points. Now, I am only like 10 points out of like 7th. The points are tight right now, is what I'm saying. But I'm only 10 points ahead of 11th. So Shadyside means a lot. Not only is it our favorite track, what I would always call my home track, regardless of where I actually live, it's always going to be what I call my home track. It's an important race for us this year because of how hard we've worked to get where we are, and we need to finish inside that top 10. I have poured everything I've got into this season. And it's getting to the point where we've got to be inventive because the money has ran out. I'm broke. And what I'm saying is, right now, I'd have to fart to have a cent in my pocket. So we're going to have to make this clutch work the down and dirty way. What I'm replacing is, right here, there's a rod that comes down. Comes off the clutch pedal and goes down to the rod right there that goes over to the Z-bar, or to the lever that goes over the Z-bar. This rod right here is threaded, but it has to go this way to put more pedal up here. Well, I'm out of this way to go, so I need about this much more space, and that's what we're going to work on now. So here's what it looks like once it's out. Fairly simple piece of rod, a little hook on the end of it, threaded, not much to it, and it's really not all that long. So we need just a little more. So the way I'm going to get just a little more throw is by recreating this rod with what I have. And what I have is this 7/16 threaded rod. It's about 3 foot long. Now, that's the 7/16 over there, and this should work. I'm gonna heat it up, put a little tiny bend in the other end down here, and then I'm gonna grind it down a little bit so I can put a Carter key back in it, and it should work just as well as what we had. At least we're gonna find out. This rod is pretty stiff. I don't see any flex in it, and I've tried to flex it. I don't see any flex. As a matter of fact, I would say it's just as stiff as the one that came out of it. Now, there's other ways that you could probably go about doing this. You could probably modify your Z-bar. You could probably modify the clutch pedal. You could probably take the original rod, cut it, and weld in kind of an extension piece in the middle. You can do all those things, but here's where I'm going is things are changing on this car, and I'm not 100% in on revealing what's going to change yet, but what I will say is it is important to me that I save this original factory rod so that I can go back to the way the car is. So this threaded rod is something I'm doing to hopefully get me through a race and a show after the race. After that, in theory, I could go back to the factory rod and be just fine. So let's get to work on making one. We need some measurements. See if I can do this and hold my tape measure and the camera and everything. So basically, I need to be longer than this. And I want to pull some measurements and see about what I am now. Let's see. I'm trying to do this with one hand so y'all can follow me along here. So it appears this thing is about, what do we got here? I want to know what the straight part is. We can call it roughly 15 of actual straight rod. I want to add, I think I'm going to add about 2 inches just to make it a little easier to deal with. So that's about 17. Let's see here. I'm gonna lay them side by side here. If it's yeah, I think I'm gonna do that. I think I'm gonna add about 2 inches to this rod and see if we can't get enough stroke that way. So now we've got our rod cut too long, which is fine. That's perfectly fine. And I've marked somewhere here, I've marked where the bend should be. Now we know I don't need this much extra on the end of it, but that's fine, it can be trimmed down. This adds 2 inches of length to the throw. Should be more than enough. But what we're gonna try to do, or what I'm gonna try to do, is just bend just the tip of it over so it's just like the one over there. And if I booger up and don't, then I've added myself a little extra room. If I get it right, then we can clean it up. So we can always take some off, we just can't add more back. So let's try to get to that point. So now you can see where we at. We got the little hook, 2 inches longer. Now, if you see, this is turned down smaller than this. Don't touch it, it's hot. And now my job is to take this one and turn it down to this size just a little bit. Then we got to drill a hole in it for the key to go through. Now I'm hoping that when we grind it down, it'll have this nice ridge on it like that, so it keeps it in place. If not, I have a plan for that. What we'll do is we'll take a washer, butt it back up against this, and weld it back here so that we have that flange. But we may not need that, because although this and this are both 7/16, this right here is a lot smaller. So I'm hoping by turning it down, it gives me that shoulder. So out in the sunlight, we can see it. We have our rod now turned, and we have, oops, where'd the, in the sunlight, we have a hole. There you go. We have a hole for our pin to go through, our lock pin. That was a small shoulder right here. Not exactly what I wanted, but I got an idea for that. There is a bushing that slides over this, slides through the pedal, and then a pin goes through here to lock it all in place. So I think, just by looking at her, she needs a little more this way, just a little more, or maybe it's a little, you know, to get it to go just a little bit. So I've got the rod in kind of position now. Sort of. See the rod, there nothing's tightened yet, and it's not actually attached to the pedal yet, but it has a massive amount of adjustment. It goes way down here, so now I've just got to make sure that I may have to trim the rod just because of the length going down here. So I want to have to get everything hooked up and do a little mashing on it just to see how much I'm going to end up having to trim off down here. Again, keep in mind, I said it's always better because you can trim some off. You can't add none back to it. So it's always better to be a little long. So I'm going to get this on here and get it buttoned up, and then start playing with the pedal to see how much space I actually have. So word of advice, just make sure when you're doing this and we got it all lined up, you don't knock your clutch fork off the pivot and the bell housing. At the end of the day, it's not the biggest deal in the world. I just got to get under the car and wiggle her back up in there. It's probably popped off a throwout bearing. Not the biggest deal in the world. It can be straightened out. It's just, you know, I'm outside in the grass. But I almost crawled under there, pushed it back in place, and popped it back on, and never mentioned it. But I figured at the end of the day, it's good for you to know the possibilities of some things that can happen. But what's going to happen now is I'm going to the house fixing a sandwich because I'm hungry and I'm fat, and my belly says it's time to go eat. I gotta get under there now. Yup. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh. Yeah. Nope. Not even close on the money. Yep. Completely apart under here. Yep. 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 Everything's completely apart. Yep. Yep. That's great. That's really great. Yeah. Yeah, that's really great. That's really just exactly what you want to see, though. Yeah. Yeah, that's exactly what you want to see.
Clutch fork came completely out, so Now I've got the car 9,000 feet in the air, so I can get all of me under there to get this back up on the throwout bearing. Yep. 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 Okay, so now that I'm back to where I started 37 minutes ago, let's see if this works. Ignore the fact that it's not tight, because that doesn't matter. Ignore the fact that the bolts aren't actually tight. This is just getting it started, and it seems like we have a functioning clutch now. So I have what appears to be a functioning clutch now. Feels good. It feels on the inside like what I'm used to. Most people would test it at this point. But me and my infinite wisdom of planning to do this all week, my wife took the truck this morning and the keys to the, they're in the truck. And yes, it still has keys because it's still actually a street car. I just try to do non-street car stuff. I'm gonna let y'all in on one more of my speed seekers. It's the Airflow 9000. I'm thinking about patenting this thing. I'm still in the testing stages right now, and we're not quite sure if we have all the CFMs, but we're trying to get there. Now, this is top secret research here that I'm letting y'all in on. We're trying to get all the CFMs, and I'm thinking about discarding this one and buying two more like this one and see if we can't get it up to here and just get all the CFMs and get all the airflows. Because y'all know the more air we can get in, the more power we can make. So we're trying to get them all in. Yeah, you know I'm being stupid right now. So guys, be at Shady side this Saturday. Qualifying starts at high noon, and it's going to be a showdown. It's time for outlaws to act like outlaws, and we're going to go out there and we're going to get down. And I know what I've got to do points wise, and I've got to break those beams twice points wise, which means disregard whatever you see the first pass, because the first qualifying pass, I'm just going to kind of roll through the gears, be gentle on her, because I need to break those beams twice, points wise, to even have a chance. But now on the second qualifying pass, well, she's getting turned up, and the first pass, Betty White, I have her dancing shoes on. The second pass, Betty White's gonna have some Doc Martens so she can put a boot in her ass. All right, so there you go. We now have a clutch that functions. Final adjustments will be made this evening, but it ain't nothing but a tweak of a nut, in or out, a little adjustment. You probably won't see any new videos come till Sunday. Our race is this Saturday, the Southeast Gassers Finals, Shady side, Shelby, North Carolina. And we've worked hard to get where we are, and we're a race team that has to put the sweat in, because we can't put the checkbook in. You've seen our struggles, you've seen how hard we've worked this year, and it all comes to a head this Saturday. So I will do my best to get some good footage Saturday, some good footage leading up to the race, some race footage and try to get all that uploaded on Sunday. So you probably won't see much from me till Sunday, but y'all tune in, and this is going to be make it or break it. We'll know when we pull out of that track. We should be able to do the math in our head, and we should be able to tell ballpark where we finish for the season. It's been a struggle this year, and you've seen it all right here on this channel. So y'all stay tuned. It's coming. The race is coming. I will see y'all Saturday. Hopefully some of y'all come out to Shady Side and see the race. Again, action starts at noon. I'm gonna say high noon because it's gonna be a fight. Y'all come out if you can. Last time I checked, I think 93 cars are registered to race. And I think last year at the fall race, we ended up close to 3,000 fans there. So it's going to be a big race. It's going to be a big deal. Shady Side always is. Shelby, North Carolina, if you're not familiar with it, y'all be there. Hope the Lord blesses you. I got a few things to do to get ready for the race, and then we're going to try to get preparations made to get the car loaded. So God bless y'all. I'll see you next time.